Sometimes a joke goes way too far and ends up at number 1.
She said, don't give me no lines and keep your hands to yourself.
These are 10 hit songs that weren't supposed to happen. Tracks born from parody, satire, or pure nonsense that went head-to-head with musical legends and won.
Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. There was a cat that really was
From disco absurdity to comedy skits that became radio anthems, these are the joke songs that took over the world. Number 10, Cotton Eye Joe, Rednex.
But I hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go?
It's the Swedish hoedown no one saw coming. In 1994, a group of techno producers from Stockholm sampled a 19th century American fiddle tune, slapped a pounding Eurodance beat under it, and accidentally invented cowboy rave.
But I hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go?
Released under the fake hillbilly persona Rednex, complete with over-the-top Wild West costumes, the single shot to number 1 across much of Europe and hit number 25 on the US Billboard Hot 100, topping charts in countries like the UK, Sweden, and New Zealand. Critics called it the dumbest genius idea of the decade, but in every club, wedding, and hockey arena, that fiddle loop refused to die. The song later spawned remixes and even re-entered the charts years after its release. The joke behind it all? None of the band members were Southern or even American, and the whole thing was a studio project built around a fictional redneck band. It's still blasted at sports games and parties today, proof that irony ages better than fashion and that one ridiculous hook can outlive entire genres. Number 9, The Purple People Eater, Sheb Wooley.
Well, I saw the thing coming out of the sky.
Before novelty songs were a full-blown thing, actor-singer Sheb Wooley imagined a one-eyed, one-horned alien who came to Earth to eat purple people.
Like a Mr. Shaking in the city. It looks like a purple people eater to me.
Recorded with sped-up chipmunk-style vocals and slap-bass twang, it became a 1958 number 1 Billboard hit and stayed there for about 5 weeks, ultimately selling millions and becoming one of the decade's biggest novelty records.
One-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater sure looks strange to me.
Wooley, who also appeared in westerns like High Noon and the TV series Rawhide, said he wrote it with kids in mind. But adults couldn't resist its absurdity either, and it ended up being covered by stars like Judy Garland the same year.
Said, Mr. Purple People Eater, don't eat me. I heard it say in a voice so gruff.
The record helped bring tape speed tricks and cartoonish vocal effects into mainstream pop long before psychedelia and heavy studio experimentation became common. By the 1970s, it had turned into a Halloween and kids' radio staple, proving that a song about a stylish intergalactic people eater can stick around a lot longer than anyone expects.
I want to get a job in a rock and roll band.
Well, bless my soul, rock and roll.
Number 8, Rasputin, Boney M. Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. History never grooved so hard. German Caribbean disco group Boney M turned the life of Russian mystic Grigory Rasputin into a dance floor epic, mixing 4 on-the-floor beats, folk-style strings, and lyrics that sounded like a wild history lesson. The single hit top 5 in at least 13 countries and topped charts in places like Germany, Austria, and Australia, going platinum in several markets and helping cement Boney M as disco superstars.
A certain man in Russia long ago. He was big and strong in his life.
The song was considered so cheeky that Soviet authorities reportedly banned the group from performing it during their 1978 shows in Moscow, judging it too risky and too mocking to their version of history. But the hook was impossible to kill. It stayed popular across Europe, resurfaced in the Just Dance video game series, and decades later exploded again on TikTok, leading to an official remix that shot back up the charts.
Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. There was a cat that really was the
Fun fact, much of the male vocals on their recordings were actually sung by producer Frank Farian himself, not Bobby Farrell, which later became controversial. The band meant it as camp, but the world heard a banger and even Russia eventually ended up dancing along. Number 7. Jerry was a race car driver. Primus. Les Claypool and Primus were the weird kids of 90s rock and proud of it.
Jerry was a race car driver. He drove so goddamn fast. Never did win no checker.
Jerry was a race car driver mixes slap-bass virtuosity with cartoonish lyrics about a reckless driver and a retired fireman named Captain Pierce, often misheard as Pekka. It was their first real breakthrough single, getting heavy play on rock radio and peaking at number 23 on Billboard's Modern Rock Tracks in 1991. MTV picked it up because no one could decide if it was a joke or a masterpiece, and that off-kilter video matched the song's twisted groove perfectly. Go! A decade later, it landed in the first Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game and other titles, turning into a cult classic for gamers too. Claypool once said the band was what would happen if Frank Zappa and a circus had a baby. He wasn't wrong. Primus made weird cool again, and this song proved that even the strangest track could crash the mainstream. Number 6. Keep Your Hands to Yourself. Georgia Satellites.
I got a little change in my pocket going jingle-lang-a-lang.
Straight ahead rock and roll with a sense of humor. When the Georgia Satellites released Keep Your Hands to Yourself in 1986, it sounded like Chuck Berry time traveled into the MTV era.
But each time we talk, I get the same old thing. Always no hooky-dookies.
Crunchy guitars, a simple riff, and lyrics you could shout from a bar stool. The story is pure Southern drawl. A guy desperate for affection and a girlfriend who wants a wedding ring before anything else.
She said, don't give me no lines and keep your hands to yourself.
What started as a bar band tune became their debut single and a monster hit, climbing all the way to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 in early 1987, held out of number 1 only by Bon Jovi's Livin' on a Prayer.
Keep your hands to yourself.
It turned the band into brief stars and later got covered live by everyone from Garth Brooks to Hank Williams Jr., cementing it as a modern bar band standard. Even Bob Dylan reportedly praised its attitude and old-school feel. Proof that sometimes a joke told with a straight face lands harder than any clever punchline. Number 5. Wooley Bully. Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs. A nonsense title, a fake pharaoh costume, and a Texas garage band that didn't care. In 1965, Wooley Bully exploded onto the charts with lyrics that no one, not even the band, could fully explain beyond party vibes and made-up slang. Frontman Domingo Sam Samudio, nicknamed Sam the Sham, said he lifted the title from his pet cat, Wooley Bully. Despite being banned by some US stations for indecipherable lyrics, the song spent 18 weeks on Billboard's Hot 100, longer than any other single that year, and peaked at number 2. It sold around 3 million copies and was named Billboard's number 1 record of 1965 on the year-end chart, outranking songs by the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, even though it never hit number 1 in any single week. Its sax riff still pops up in movies from Splash to Full Metal Jacket, and countless commercials and sports events. Proof you don't need deep meaning to make deep history. Just a groove that never stops grinning. 4. Puttin' on the Ritz. Taco. A 1930s Irving Berlin standard, reborn with robots and eyeliner.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits?
In 1982, Dutch-Indonesian singer Taco Akersy turned Puttin' on the Ritz into a synth-pop satire, releasing it from his album After 8. Half homage, half parody, it mashed together swing-era charm and new wave irony, even weaving in musical nods to other Berlin songs like There's No Business Like Show Business and Alexander's Ragtime Band.
Different types who wear a day coat, pants with stripes and cutaway coat, perfect fits.
The video, with Taco in top hat and tails surrounded by mannequin-like dancers, was briefly pulled or edited on MTV because of background performers in blackface. leading to an alternate cut. Yet the single still hit number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, went number 1 on Cashbox in the US, and topped charts in countries like Sweden and New Zealand, while reaching number 1 on Canada's adult contemporary chart.
Trying hard to look like Gary Cooper.
It sold over 1 million copies in the US, earning a gold certification and making Berlin, then in his mid-90s, one of the oldest living songwriters ever to have a top 10 pop hit. Irving Berlin himself reportedly sent a congratulatory note. It was the moment Cabaret met computers, and both looked fabulous.
Uptown, get your kicks at the Ritz.
Number 3. Down Under, Men at Work. Down Under started out as a cheeky love letter to Australia. Half travel diary, half inside joke. Men at Work frontman Colin Hay and flautist Greg Ham shaped it while gigging around Melbourne, poking fun at Aussie cliches. Vegemite sandwiches, backpacking hippies, and a land where women glow and men plunder. They first recorded a rough, more stripped down version for an early indie single, then went back and recut it for their debut album Business as Usual, sharpening the groove and that now iconic flute line.
On a hippie trailhead full of zombies.
Released in 1981 in Australia and rolled out worldwide soon after, it exploded. Down Under hit number 1 in more than a dozen countries, including the US, the UK, and of course Australia. It helped Men at Work win the Grammy for Best New Artist and made them the first Australian band to top both the US single and album charts at the same time. It quickly turned into an unofficial national anthem, blasted at Olympics, cricket matches, rugby games, and in tourism ads for decades. For a lot of people outside the country, this song was their first mental picture of Australia.
And she said, do you come from a land down under?
But under all the jokes and sing-along lines, the lyrics carried a quiet warning. Hay has explained that Down Under was meant as both a celebration and a cautionary tale, a satire about commercialization, overdevelopment, and a culture being sold off and reshaped too quickly. The smiling guy in the verses is watching his country change in front of him. Most listeners never noticed. They were too busy dancing, drinking, and yelling "Where beer does flow" and "Men chunder" at the top of their lungs. Then, years later, the humor took a darker turn. In 2009 to 2010, an Australian court ruled that the flute riff unintentionally copied part of the children's song Kookaburra Sits in the Old Gum Tree, and the publishers of Kookaburra were awarded a share of the royalties. Greg Ham was crushed by the case and by the idea that people might see him as a plagiarist. He told reporters he worried he'd be remembered for copying something, and said the ruling had gutted his pride in the song. So you end up with a strange contrast. A track that began as a playful parody and turned into a global party anthem, but also left real scars on the people who made it. And still, whenever that flute riff comes in, it feels like pure freedom. Sunshine, mischief, and just enough irony to remind you that even the happiest songs can have shadows behind them. Number 2. King Tut, Steve Martin.
Now when it was a
Comedian Steve Martin didn't just rule stand-up, he topped the pop charts.
people stand in line to see the boy King. King Tut.
Written as a parody of Tutmania, the global obsession with Egyptian artifacts after the treasures of Tutankhamun exhibit toured the US, King Tut turned a museum craze into a 3-minute comedy sketch you could play on the radio.
Now if I know they line up just to see him,
Martin's mock tribute featured the nitty-gritty dirt band backing him as the Toot Uncommons, giving the whole thing a surprisingly tight band behind the nonsense. Released in 1978, it sold over 1 million copies and reached number 17 on the Billboard Hot 100, spending 15 weeks on the chart and becoming one of the strangest hits of the decade. He even debuted it in an elaborate performance on Saturday Night Live, dancing in full Pharaoh garb while saxophones wailed and dancers carried sarcophagi across the stage.
dancing by the Nile.
What began as a jab at commercialization became a cultural artifact itself. The recording is now preserved in the U.S. National Recording Registry for its historical significance. The funniest part? Steve Martin never meant it to last. But comedy, like history, always finds a way back from the tomb. Number 1, We're Not Gonna Take It, Twisted Sister. It started as satire and became an anthem. In 1984, Twisted Sister frontman Dee Snider wrote, "We're Not Gonna Take It," as a tongue-in-cheek rebellion against authority. Simple lyrics, a chant-along chorus, and a melody partly inspired by old Christmas carols and rock and roll sing-alongs. The over-the-top music video featuring cartoonish slapstick violence and Snider's wild makeup looked like a mashup of Looney Tunes and heavy metal, which made MTV play it non-stop and made parents furious.
This is our life, this is our song.
Critics mocked it as a metal joke. Then it went gold, cracked the Billboard Top 40 at number 21, and became a protest anthem for teens, military families, and political rallies alike. The PMRC, Parents Music Resource Center, even hauled Snider into a U.S. Senate hearing in 1985, accusing the song of promoting violence and corrupting kids, putting it on their infamous Filthy 15 list. He showed up in denim and big hair, calmly read the lyrics aloud, and pointed out there was no violence in them at all. It was about empowerment, not destruction. And that's our tour through the joke songs that accidentally took over the world. If you enjoyed this trip down the strangest side of the charts, hit like so more people can find it, and subscribe for more deep dives into the weird corners of music history. Drop your favorite joke song in the comments. I will feature it in a future video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.